එවං මේ සුතං ඒකං සමයං භගවා සාවන්තියං විහෙරති ජේතවනේ අනාථපිණ්ඩිකංස ආරාමේ අතකෝ අඤ්ඤතරා දේවතා අබින්කන්තාය රන්තියා අබින්කන්තවන්නා කේවල කම්පං ජේතවනං ඕවාසෙන්වා යේන භගවාතේනුපසංකමී උපසංකමින්වා භගවන්තං අභිවාදෙන්වා ඒකමන්තං අන්තාසී ඒකමන්තං තිතාකෝසා දේවතා භගවන්තං ගාතාය අංජබාසී බහුදේවා මනුන්සාච මංගලානි අචින්තයොං ආකංකමානා සොන්තානං බ්‍රෝහි මංගලමුන්තමං අසේවනාච බාලානං පණ්ඩිතානංච සේවනා පූජාච පූජනීයානං ඒතං මංගලමුන්තමං පතිරූපදේශවාසෝච පුම්බේච කත පුඤ්ඤතා අන්ත සම්මා පනිදිච ඒතං මංගලමුන්තමං බාහු සංචංච සිම්පංච විනයෝච සුසිංකිතෝ සුභාසිතාච යාවාචා ඒතං මංගලමුන්තමං මාතා පිතු උපට්ඨානං පුන්තදාරංස සංඝෝ අනාකුලාච කම්මන්තා ඒතං මංගලමුන්තමං දානංච ධම්මචරියාච ඥාතකානංච සංඝෝ අනවංජානි කම්මානි ඒතං මංගලමුන්තමං ආරති විරති පාපා මංජපානාච සංයමෝ අප්පමාදෝච ධම්මේසු ඒතං මංගලමුන්තමං ගාරවෝච නිවාතෝච සන්තුන්තිච කතං යුතා කාලේන ධම්ම සවනං ඒතං මංගලමුන්තමං කන්තිච සෝව චන්සතා සමනානංච දන්සනං කාලේන ධම්ම සාකච්ඡා ඒතං මංගලමුන්තමං තපෝච බ්‍රහ්මචරියංච අරිය සංචාන දන්සනං නිබ්බාන සංචිකිරියාච ඒතං මංගලමුන්තමං පුන්තංස ලෝක ධම්මී චින්තං යන්සන කම්පති අසෝකං විරජං කේමං ඒතං මංගලමුන්තමං ඒතාදිසානි කන්වාන සම්බන්තමපරාදිතා සම්බන්ත සොන්තිං ගංචන්තිතං තේසං මංගල මුන්තමන්ති ඒතේන සංච වංජේන හෝතු තේ ජය මංගලං ඒතේන සංච වංජේන හෝතු තේ ජය මංගලං ඒතේන සංච වංජේන හෝතු තේ ජය මංගලං කරණීය මන්ත කුසලේන යන්තං සන්තං පදං අභිසමිංච සක්කෝජුච සුජුච සුවචෝචන් සමුදු අනතිමානි සන්තුන්සකෝච සුභරෝච අම්පකින්චෝච සල්ලහුකවුන්ති සන්තින්ද්‍රියෝච නිපකෝච අම්පගම්බෝකුලේසු අනුනුගින්දෝ නචකුන්දං සමාචරේකින්චි යේන විඤ්ඤූ පරේ උපවදෙයොං සුඛිනෝ වාකේමිනෝ හන්තු සම්බේ සන්තා භවන්තු සුඛිතන්තා ඒකේචිපාන භූතන්ති තසවාතාවරාවා අනවසේසා දීඝාවායේ මහන්තාවා මංජිමාරංසකානුකතුලා දිත්ථාවායේව අන්දින්තා යේච දුරේ වසන්ති අවිදුරේ භූතාවා සම්භවේසීවා සම්බේ සන්තා භවන්තු සුඛිතන්තා නපරෝ පරං නිකුම්බේත ඥාති මඤ්ඤේත කන්ත චිනං කංචි ව්‍යාරෝසනා පටික සංඥා ඥාඤ්ඤ මඤ්ඤංස දුම්කමිච්ඡේය මාතා යතානියං පුන්තං ආයුසා ඒක පුන්ත මනුරංකේ ඒවම්පි සම්බභූතේසු මාන සංභාවයේ අපරිමාණං මෙත්තංච සම්බලෝකස්මින් මාන සංභාවයේ අපරිමාණ උන්දං අදෝච තිරියංච අසංභාදං අවේරං අසපන්තං තින්ඨං චරං නිසින්නෝවා සයානෝවායාවතන්ස විගතමින්දෝ ඊතං සතින් අදින්ඨේය බ්‍රහ්මමේතං විහාරං ඉදමාහෝ දින්ඨින්ච අනුපගම්ම සීලවා දන්සනේන සම්පන්නෝ කාමේසු විනය්‍යගේදං නහි ජාතු ගම්බසේයං පුනරේති එවං මේ සුතං ඒකං සමයං භගවා සාවන්තියං විහෙරති 제තවනේ අනාථ පින්ඩිකංස ආරාමේ අතකෝ අඤ්ඤතරා දේවතා අබින්කන්තාය රන්තියා අබින්කන්තවන්නා කේවලක
Namo Buddhaya, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, a very good morning to you. It is a fine and beautiful Sunday. Nice to see you again, especially those who have a lock-in so early in the morning. Well done, well done. So check on your Wi-Fi, make sure it's all right, and it'll be good to connect the event, watching the event over the external speaker or over your smart TV. So remember, during the online puja service, have a calm mind. Namo Buddhaya, brothers and sisters of the Dhamma. Welcome to Subang Jaya Buddhist Association. This is 66 online Sundays Buddha Puja service. We have been organizing this weekly online puja service so as to give an opportunity to Buddhist devotees near and far to continue with our Buddhist faith and practices. An opportunity to listen to a Dharma sharing and dedication of merits. Please make use of the comment box to continue to wish each other and to over to the speaker too. Well, I have an announcement to make this morning. Due to the high interest of the last talk by Venerable Dr. Dhammapala on the title Rebirth, Karma, Death, you may send your questions to SJBA email. I will post it on the comment box and we will hand over to Venerable. Venerable will speak on those questions. We will group the questions together. Well, let us prepare ourselves by sitting comfortably, relax our bodies and compose our mind. Let go of thinking about the past and future. Be in the present moment. I shall now hand over to our puja leader, Sister Ansiu. Over to you, Sister Ansiu.
Thank you, Brajwan. Good morning, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. Namo Buddhaya. Let us begin with our Sunday Buddha Puja by making offerings to the Buddha. May I invite Brother Jim to make the offerings to the Buddha. Brothers and sisters, if you have prepared the offerings at home, you may light your candles or oil lamps and make your other offerings to the Buddha. For the other devotees, let us place our palms together in Anjali position and contemplate mindfully. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. 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 Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, let us pay homage to the Triple Gem. Buddhang Pujemi, Dhammang Pujemi, Sanghang Pujemi. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, let us together take refuge in the Triple Gem and observe the 5 precepts. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Buddhang Saranang Gacchami, Dhammang Saranang Gacchami, Sanghang Saranang Gacchami. Dutiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami, Dutiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami, Dutiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami, Tatiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami, Tatiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami, Tatiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami. Panatipata Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Adinna Dhanna Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Kame Sumichachara Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Musavada Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Surameraya Majjapamadatthana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Imani panca sikkhapadani samadhiyami. Imani panca sikkhapadani samadhiyami. Imani panca sikkhapadani samadhiyami. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Itipiso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho Vichacharana sampanno sugato lokavidu Anuttaro purisa dhamma sarati sattha deva manussana buddho bhagavati Swakato bhagavata dhammo sanditthiko akaliko ehipassiko oppanayiko paccatang veditabbu vinyuhiti Supatipanno bhagavato sāvaka sangho Ujupatipanno bhagavato sāvaka sangho Nyayapatipanno bhagavato sāvaka sangho Samicipatipanno bhagavato sāvaka sangho Yadidang chattari purisa yugani atta purisa pukkala Esa bhagavato sāvaka sangho Ahuneyo pahuneyo Dakineyo anjali karaniyo Anuttarang punyaketang lokasati Vandami cetiyang sabbang sabbadhane supatititang Saririkadatu mahabodhi buddharupang sakalang sada Yassa mule nisinnova sabbari vijayang aka Pato sabbanyutang satta Vande tang bodhipadapang Ime ete mahabodhi lokanatena pujita Ahampi namassami bodhiraja namatute Ganasara paditena dipena tamadansina Tiloka dipang sambuddhang pujayami tamonudang Ganda sambara yuttena dupenahang sugandina Pujaye pujaniyang tang puja bhajana muttamang Vannaganda gunopetang etang kusuma santating Pujayami munindassa siripada sararuhe Pujemi buddhang kusumena nena punyena mittena cha hotu mokkang puppang milayati yatha idang me kayo tatayati vinasa bhavang. Adivasetu no bante paniyang parikapitang anukampang upadaya patiganhatu muttamang. Kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya katang acayang kamame bante puripanya tathagata. Kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya katang acayang kamame dhamma santitika akalika. Kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya katang acayang kamame sangha supatipanna anuttara. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Brothers and sisters, the Dhamma, in this Dhamma talk, later on if you have questions regarding talk, please type the questions in the comment box. We will try to answer as many as possible. This morning, the speaker is not new to us. He was with SJBA during his younger days, since the first semi-detached premises. He was with the Sunday Dharma School. From then, he did not stop there. Today, Didi Kuniwan is the head of program for advancement in Dharma leadership. We call it, in short, PADA, under the Center for Research and Dharma Leadership Advancement, in short, DCRADA, which is an initiative of the Theravada Buddhist Council. The speaker is sharing the Dharma with several societies. The speaker was with us on Sunday 27 with the title Developing Wholesome Qualities. On September 26, the title of his talk was Giving Up the Unskillful, Cultivating the Skillful. He has shared with us how he did it, making it easy for us to understand and the easy way to do it. This morning, the sharing of title is Gratitude is Gratifying. Again, get your pencil ready, your notebook ready, where later you may need to reflect and understand it. Further, write it down. You may need to do it. Brothers and sisters, let us welcome Didi Niwan to this morning's Dharma sharing. Namo Buddhaya, Didi Niwan. Good morning. How are you this morning?
Hi, good morning, Didi Chuan. It's good to be seeing you. Good to be back in SJBA sharing, for the Dhamma sharing.
Okay, that's great. Didi Niwan, I understand that you have placed the importance of practicing gratitude in your way of life. Is there a teacher or somehow where you realize the importance of gratitude and you decide to practice it and you like to share to all the devotees out there? Over to you.
Good question. I think I as I reflected on my life, I have always been considered myself very fortunate that I have all the conditions, right for me to practice. as well as to be able to connect with the various good people around me. And as I reflect on my life, I find it's really blessed. And I think for that reason, I'm also humbled by the whole thing. And that's why today I actually have a lot of sense of gratitude for others. And I make it a point today to actually, at least, reach out to people and say thanks for whatever you have done for my life, or at least have a certain sense that I'm not doing it alone. I have all the conditions right. So yeah, it's a self-reflection, and also I think thanks to the Buddha for this teaching, it helps me to stay grounded on reality and not to be too arrogant and having a lot of ego and things like that. So yeah, that's the reason why one of the reasons why I chose this as a very good topic to share as well.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, Didi Niwan. I'm sure many of you out there will agree with me. In his previous talk, he is making very simple, practical aspects how to practice what we have heard, what have we learned before. But remember, we need to practice. And with that, I'd like to invite Didi Niwan to proceed with the Dhamma talk. Over to you.
Thank you, Didi Chuan. Yes, thank you very much again, Didi Chuan and the team at SJBA for making the effort once again. I think I must say it's an amazing effort to be able to be consistently doing this for every week as we come together for a Sunday, not just the puja, but also to participate in the Dhamma sharing and engagement. And this is something very, very good because I always find that when we come together to engage in the Dhamma learning, it's always better than us trying to do it all by ourselves. We can do it by ourselves. We can read our books. We can go into YouTube and you can watch, but nothing beats the sense that we are doing it together as a community. And so I would view Dhamma talks like this, not just for you to sit there and just listen, but also to participate. And I know that we are still in the middle of the pandemic and the centers are not yet open for us to come together as, face-to-face and gathering. But at least on the online platforms, when we are either on Facebook or even on YouTube, we are imagining that we are doing this together with the rest of the people around us as they also watch this at the same time. And that sense of connectedness is what I want to start with in today's Dhamma sharing, because sense of connectedness is one of the key important human qualities or human conditions that we have as a human being. Being connected to another person, being connected to another human being is one of the most fundamental kind of need that we want to have. And this connectedness is not just a social connectedness. It can also be an emotional connectedness and also a spiritual one. And I believe the Buddha has laid down a very good grounds and very good guidelines for us to connect spiritually, not just materially or socially or just emotionally alone, but also spiritually. And he has given us a lot of tools, a lot of practices for us to do so. So I invite you today to be part of today's Dhamma sharing, and I'm humbled by the opportunity given. I'm grateful. Actually, for me, any Dhamma talk for me to give a Dhamma talk is a great opportunity for me to deepen my own practice in the Dhamma. It's not just about giving, but it's also about me. Actually, I benefit a lot as I prepare for the talk, as I do the talk, and as I deliver, and as I reflect. I actually benefit a lot from it. So I'm thankful to SJBA once again for giving me this opportunity. And as I mentioned before, SJBA is where I grew up, all right, since my early years. And I think it's very, very gratifying and to share back to the organization, the Buddhist Center that started it off for me. And I thank all my seniors, all my uncles, aunties who have really, really created a good impact to my life till today. So allow me to first express my gratitude to our most great teacher, the Buddha himself, by reciting the homage to him, and you can join me. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Okay, so gratitude is, to me, is a gratifying practice. I did share in the last time when I talked about habits. And building habits is about building qualities. All right. So kusala dhamma, skillful qualities. And these qualities are the things that as we build more good qualities, these qualities are the very things that will carry us in our life. Without those qualities, you will notice that as we want to go deeper into the practice, especially if you're a meditator, you will notice that if we do not have the virtues and the qualities to support us in our day-to-day life as we lead our life, meditation does not work. A lot of people want to do meditation by saying, I want to do meditation because I want to solve a problem in my life. It's, I mean, not entirely wrong, but then again, the Buddha never taught it that way. The Buddha taught us about getting life right. The Buddha taught us about getting life right. He didn't say get meditation right to get life right. No, he didn't say do meditation, then your life is good. No, he didn't do that. The Buddha said get life right. And that's why he spent a lot of time to explain about right view, about, orientation, about our motivation, and about building the virtues and the qualities. Get life right. Once we get life right, meditation is a breeze. It happens, So that's what we need to have. It's an orientation on life. It's a very important thing. That includes building up our skillful qualities that we have. And today, I'd like to focus on two important qualities which are very, very closely related. One, the very first one is about humility. And humility, and I'll explain a little bit about humility. Some of us have our understanding of humility. I would like to give you the Buddhist perspective of what humility means, and from there, there's an accompanying, a virtue, which is gratitude. All right, so these two are very, very closely linked, and in fact, they are sometimes quite similar in that sense. So today, I would like to explore the gratifying practice of humility, of gentleness, and of gratitude as a human being. What can we do to help us to be a little bit more of a gentle and grateful and a person of that quality? Okay, so let me explore this. I'd like to start with this very famous simile, and I'm sure some of you are familiar with this simile, the turtle and the yolk simile. It has been cited in at least a few suttas, but I've taken it off from this sutta. And the simile is, there could be some one or two variations in different suttas, but in general, it doesn't run too far off. In fact, it's quite similar. So those of you who are familiar with the simile, bear with me. But those of you who are not familiar with the simile, allow me to explain. So now, the simile goes like this. Imagine the vast ocean. And you know how vast the ocean is, right? It's really unimaginable how vast the ocean is. But it's really, you can't, put it this way. Even if you go to the beach, you go to the middle of the sea there, can you even see anything around you? You can't, So now imagine in this vast ocean, there is a yolk. A yolk is something like in Malaysia, like a wooden pelampong. Is floating around. Yolk is what you put on the cow, the bull. Those of you who are familiar with how the buffalo, the water buffalo, they put a yoke around the buffalo and they attach it to the shoulders, and then he's supposed to pull the the what do you call that? The thing that sows the soil, yeah. So so the yolk, so it's a roundish thing with a hole in the middle, and that hole in the middle is a small one, and it's floating around the ocean. Okay, and imagine that there is a turtle in this ocean who is a turtle swimming in this vast ocean. And not only that, the turtle is a blind one. It's a blind turtle. You can't see. So imagine this. Once in every 100 years, the turtle will rise to the surface of the ocean and will poke his head up for a few moments to take a breath. And then the turtle will go back down in the ocean and will continue to swim in the vast ocean for another 100 years. And it will not surface again. And it's a blind one. So what is the chance for the turtle when it rises to the surface? The head ngam goes through the the yolk, the hole there, and poke its head up. What is the chance of that happening? Now, it's you can't really imagine, right? I mean, you can't even put a mathematical equation to it. And according to the Buddha, the what do you call that? To be born as a human being, we all are human beings. To be born as a human being is the probability of to be born as a human being is even rarer than that. It's even rarer than that. So imagine, to be born as a human being is rare. And therefore, the Dhammapada verse goes like this. It is hard or rare to gain a human birth. To be born as a human being is already very, 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 very rare. And it is also not easy to get a human birth. Not only that, to be born as a human being with our senses intact, with our limbs in order, to be healthy, to be born in a place where we are all right. We are not suffering. We are not in poverty. We are not in a very unfortunate state. That itself is a very, 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 very rare thing. Now, you may have seen this verse before. I'm sure we have read this, but how many of us reflect on this? I'd like to explain why I want to choose this as a point of reflection. Let me read the rest here. The life of mortals is hard. The life of human beings is it's hard. It's not an easy life. Okay, some have it easier, of course, but in general, we do have to go through some kinds of struggle in life, whether it is to make ends meet, or to go through some hardship in terms of physical hardship, or even mental hardship. Whatever hardship we face, the life of mortals is hard. It is rare to be born as a human being. The life of mortals is hard. The next one, it's rare and hard to hear the Dhamma, to be able to have the opportunity to learn the Dhamma, explore the Dhamma, listen to Dhamma, know the Dhamma, and the right conditions to practice the Dhamma. It is very, very, very rare. So, and the arising of Buddha is really rare, it's really hard. It is something that doesn't happen just like this. It happens because somebody called the Buddha has given us the teaching, and we are not in the middle of that. We have missed him by 2,500 years, and yet we still have the ripples of his teaching being given to us. Today, we are seated in the comfort of our home, being together with the rest of the people here and sort of listening to Dhamma is something very, very, very rare. So I'd like to start with this because on one hand, this shows the uniqueness of human birth. But on the other hand, it also shows that to have the right conditions, imagine I'm a human being. I have the right conditions to be here listening to Dhamma. I have enough to go by, for example. Did we achieve this all by ourselves? Now, if you think about it, what made us having the kind of life that we have? What made us to be able to come to this state? It's not due to us alone. There are many and multiple conditions that have contributed to me, to us living the life we have. This is something that we need to take note of. Therefore, we are fortunate because our very existence is dependent on many conditions, right? I mean, there are many conditions around us that help us to be who we are, to get to where we are. We are where we are today because of those conditions, the people around us, the environment we grew up in, the time we are born in, and so on and so forth. I'm consider myself a very fortunate person, as I mentioned to Didi Chuan earlier, being born in an era where it's not entirely not too bad. It's and I'm born to a family that's all right. That's not that we don't have to struggle as much when we were younger. I mean, we are not very we're not well to do in that sense, but we are all right. We don't have to suffer in terms of hunger and things like that. And it's so fortunate that my family moved us to Subang Jaya back in the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s. Around that time, we moved to Subang Jaya, and many people consider Subang Jaya as the backwater of civilization back in the day, because there was practically nothing here. It's palm oil estate, and it was a new township, and we didn't have many things. We didn't have a mall. We didn't have all the comforts that we enjoy today those days, but we enjoyed. We are all right. But I consider myself fortunate because eventually, as you know my history, I got in touch with Subang Jaya Buddhist Association, and and my friend whom I to today is my good friend. He has brought me to the center, and the rest is history. So the conditions are there, and not only that, my parents are alive. My parents are not having sickness. They are not young anymore, but they are not having sickness. They can move about. They are all okay. I have been given a good education. I have been given so all these things, and also having a little bit of success in life. But did I achieve this all by myself? I don't think so. Many conditions have been just right for me to be where I am. I mean, I would not have this opportunity to speak with you had I not been given all this opportunity in my early years. I have been, blessed that all the people around me have given me all the support. So to look at it from this angle, rare is the birth as a human being. Hard is the life of mortals. Hard is the hearing of Dhamma. And hard is rare is the appearance of Buddha. I can tell you this is something I feel, wow, I can't ask for more, because all the conditions are there, and there are many, many individuals in my life that have contributed to how I am today. It's not about me. I cannot say to you I'm successful because I'm smart. I used to think like this. I'm smart, I'm good, I am I have the opportunity, I have the what they call ability and things like that. But at the end of the day, where does all this come from? Yes, I may be born with some qualities. Yes, that's true. Some of us are inborn with some fortunate qualities that we have, capabilities, IQ, and everything. But it's not just about those things. Had we not had the right conditions around us, we would not be where we are. So can we say our success is due to my effort? Some people tend to think that way. My success is due to because I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, but it's not just about that. Success and us is related to what we call our well-being, and success in life is not something we achieve all by ourselves. There are many people, sometime, somewhere, someone has come into my life, has come into our life to help or influence my life direction. So as we reflect on this, it's actually very, very interesting. As I reflect on this on a daily basis, I cannot just say, I am me, I just do my thing, I don't care about other people. No, it's not just about that. Success that we have enjoyed today is due to the many conditions that has been there all these while. And therefore, it calls for one important thing. So I just want to show you this thing, because The 8 worldly conditions, if you are familiar, surround us. Okay, pleasure and pain, gain and loss. I'm sure we have this, and praise and blame, fame and disrepute. These conditions, it gets us. They blow us in different directions. Now I want to focus a lot more on these 4 here. When we have success, we will get praises. But at the same time, there will be people who blame us. When we have achieved a certain name for ourselves, for example, I may be known to some of you here. I may get a little bit of, so-called fame. Actually, it's not fame, but it's actually good reputation. But at some point, some people will figure out and says, you're wrong, and then gives me a bad reputation. It can happen that way. Now, the problem is this. Either way, praise and blame, fame and what they call bad reputation, our ego will always get in the way. Our ego is the one that will make us either conceited, feel we are better than others or worse than others. That is all ego. And the antidote to any of this, put it this way, praise is unreliable because it never lasts. You get praise one day, you get blamed the other day. Fame is also never lasting. You get fame one day, you also get bad reputation in another day. So these things do not last. They all pull us in different directions. But we always want to push away the negative and go for the positive. We want that. But our ego will get in the way, and therefore it's hard for us to live our life in that way. So to me, the only way in which we can have an antidote to help us to weather through, whether it's praise or blame, fame or disrepute, is to practice these 2 virtues. Gratitude and humility helps keeps our ego in check. Now, I'm sure this is not new to most of us, but even as Buddhist practitioners, I can tell you very, very, based on my observations of myself and also the people around me, even Buddhists can get into an ego trip. I know more Dhamma than you. I think I'm a better meditator than you. I go for more retreats, so I'm a little bit more spiritual. And then we look around the people around us and say, so we practice 5 precepts. I don't take, I practice it to the, but those other people out there are not practicing, therefore their life is like that. So we also can be very egotistical Buddhist. Okay, I must say this. There are some of us, and I'm also not exempt from this, because there are times when we feel that we know a little bit more, and then we feel that, oh, now I'm better. Okay, so gratitude and humility help us to lessen the kind of effects of the 8 worldly conditions, especially these 4: praise and blame, fame and disrepute. So I'm combining the teaching here. We talk about the 8 worldly conditions, the Atta, Loka, Dhamma, and then we talk about the virtues of gratitude and humility. Actually, it helps to lessen our pride, lessen our ego, help us to check ourselves from time to time. The practice here is helping us to lead towards a lot more, egoless or egoless. We can't have no ego at all, only the Buddha and Arahants, but less ego helps us along the way as we progress. So, and this is something I remind myself on a day-to-day basis, because in life, I don't think I know everything. And being humbled by the situations around me help us to keep all these things in check. Okay, so now, according to the Buddha, humility, gentleness, and kindness will attract good people to us. I've taken this from the Sutta, and in the Saddha Sutta, Anguttara Nikaya 5, the Buddha, in one of the passages, this is very, you see, the Buddha was very good because he's always very using nature to give us some idea about what it means. So let me read to you. A large tree with a mighty trunk branches, leaves, and fruit, firm roots and bearing fruit, is support for many birds. Having flown across the sky, the birds resort to this delightful base. Those in need of shade partake of its shade. Those in needing fruit enjoy its fruit. Just so, when a person is virtuous, endowed with faith, saddha, of humble manner, sensitive, gentle, welcoming, tender, those in the world who are fields of merit, devoid of lust and hatred, devoid of delusion, taintless, resort to such a person. So we need good people in our life, don't we? We want to have good people in our life. We want to have people who will give us, who will continue to support our, blessed life. But if we want to attract the right kind of people to our life, the qualities we should have are humility, gentleness, tenderness. I think these are the things that the Buddha mentioned a lot in many, many suttas. But here in this specific one, he makes a reference to say if a large tree can attract good birds to come and partake in the fruits, what more if we are a humble person, gentle person, welcoming person, sensitive person, tender person, those around us, especially good people, will be attracted to us and they will come to us. When I read this passage or this verse, actually one thing came to me. One of the things that if we want to have good business in life, or you want to do good business, one of the important things is to have this virtue, and this is what we call making business sense. Okay, it's actually good business sense. For doing business, is it's not about how smart we are. It's not about how good we are. In my kind of business, it's a very personal relationship kind of business, and therefore, without having it's not about how smart. Sometimes people do want to know how smart, because put it this way, being smart and being good in what we do is a baseline. It's what we need to do to get a job done. But why should people choose me to do business with me? It requires the level of comfort. And usually we are attracted to people that are humble, gentle, welcoming, tender. When we are having this quality, people want to do business with us. And that's a very important consideration. So it's not just about how good we are. It's about how humble we are, how kind we are, how gentle we are, because it's all about comfort. All right. So business is all about comfort, right? People don't buy what we do. People buy why we do it, and people also buy what kind of person we are, and that's a very important business consideration here. So this is a very useful passage to us to reflect on humility. Another closer to home one is the Metta Sutta. Okay, I'm sure we know this first verse of the Metta Sutta says this is what should be done by those who are skilled in goodness and have known the place of peace. Let them be able, upright, very upright, easy to speak to, gentle and humble. Yeah, the word here is mudu, gentleness. Yeah, so a practitioner is not somebody who just knows a lot of they know a lot of Pali, they know a lot of they can chant very well, they can give good talks, they can sometimes quote from the Buddha and things like that. It's not just about that. A good practitioner is someone who is gentle, humble, easy to speak with. And all these qualities are such that we can connect with people. Without humility, without gentleness, without kindness, it's harder to connect. We're connecting on the mind level. We're connecting on the intellectual level, which is all right. But if you want to connect on a deeper level, emotional connection requires us to be gentle, to be humble, to be good, to be easy to speak with. And all these qualities are praised by the Buddha. So I want to emphasize here a lot of all these things, because sometimes we feel, why some people like that? But look, we need to cultivate these things. These are skillful. And according to the Noble Eightfold Path, The second factor of the path is called Samma Sankappa. Okay, frequently translated as right thought. And according to the Vibhanga Sutta, there are three sankappas, three orientations, motivations that are considered wholesome. Nikkama Sankappa, Abhyapada Sankappa, and Avihimsa Sankappa, frequently translated as renunciation, goodwill, and harmlessness. So, but according to Ajahn Brahm, he will simplify it to say, make peace, be kind, be gentle. So in the practice of the Noble Eightfold Path, being kind and being gentle is something that we are encouraged to do. So it's not just about how good we are, how smart we are in doing something. It's about how kind we are and how gentle we are in the way we relate to the people around us, in also the way we relate to life in general, right? So it is in right thought, Samma Sankappa. So every time we talk about Samma Sankappa in the Noble Eightfold Path, this is what the Buddha actually meant. And I've taken this from the internet and says even Bruce Lee had this saying that says, noticed that the stiffest tree is most easily cracked, while the bamboo or willow survives by bending with the wind. So those who are strong are usually the more gentle people, because if you're very stiff and you feel that I'm the smartest person, I know everything, okay, I know better than you, and things like that, you're like a stiff tree. But a stiff tree, when the wind blows, when the thunderstorm comes, even the tree can be uprooted. But if you're a bamboo or a willow, or in our context, the lalang, because lalang is not a good term to use, right? But what I'm saying is the grass, right? It looks so soft, and yet when the wind blows, no matter how much a thunderstorm is, the tree is uprooted, the grass remains on the ground. It just bends with the wind, but it will never be uprooted by the wind. That is the power of humility. That's the power of gentleness. Okay, so people who are humble are like, they are deeply rooted. They will not be swayed by the winds. They're not stiff. They're not people who are rigid. They are flexible. They're capable to able to know how to deal with the situations around them because of humility. Let me tell you, even one of the management gurus, Patrick Lencioni, Patrick Lencioni did some research about teams, and he talks about, if you want the best results from your people, build a good team. And he says there are three virtues of a team member. Okay, three virtues of a team member. One of it is you need to be smart. Of course, as a team member, you need to be smart to be able to deal with the situations around you. As a team member, you also need to have what we call the hunger, the wanting to do things for the team. But one virtue that he also emphasized is called humble. If you want to work in a team, and if you want to find good team members, humility is something that perhaps is the first thing you might want to look for. See, many a time when we want people to work in a team, even in Buddhist societies, when we want to get people to come and work with us, one of the first things we look for is capability. Nothing wrong with that. Yes, capability is important. We also want to see whether the person knows his stuff. They know what to do, and he's willing to do an extra part. But you will notice sometimes some people are very smart, very capable, but lacking in humility. When this happens, you will notice one thing: even if they can get the job done, but then when they work in team, I'm sure you have experience. In Buddhist organizations, no different. In a committee, you may have one or two members who are not team players. Okay, they like to do their own thing. They do not want to they don't want to follow the way we do it. And not only that, they sometimes create a lot of issues that will lead to a lot of problems. And then we keep them in the team. Why? Because they are good, they can do the thing. But one important thing is lacking is they don't have humility. Some people lack that. So if you want to build a good team, this is just extra tip. Want to build a good team, find people who are humble. Find people who don't mind to take a little bit of feedback, who don't mind to be told from time to time this is wrong, and willing to adjust to suit the team and not just being rigid about it. Find people who are like a bamboo or a willow rather than finding a people who are like a stiff tree. Okay, this is just an extra tip for you who are trying to build a team. Okay, so and you know, in our Malay sayings, ilmu padi semakin berisi semakin tunduk. You know, I'm just, those of you who know Malay, you know the padi, right? The more it has semakin berisi means the more you know, right? And the more it bends. Okay, this one I remember since we were in school. One thing good about the schools those days is we learned so much. I was in a Malay school, so we spoke Malay from very young, and they flooded us with peribahasa. And this is such a beautiful peribahasa. Semakin berisi, semakin tunduk. The more isi you have, the more you know, the more you accumulate, the humbler you are. Okay, that's be like the padi. Yeah, don't be like a stiff tree. Okay, so this is just an extra bit for you. And in the Mangala Sutta, which you hear the chanting much earlier, not in the recorded chanting, right? Garavo cha nivato cha santuti cha katanyuta, you know, kalina dhamma savanang etang mangala muttamang. Very nice melodious chanting. The meaning is even better. Respect, garavo, nivato, humility, santuti, contentment, katanyutta, gratitude. Humility and gratitude are praised as blessings. They are mangala. They are all mangala. They are blessings. So this is something so important that the Buddha keep emphasizing again and again and again and again. Humility and gratitude. They are blessings. They will bring good blessings to us. If you want a smooth life, have humility. If you want a good life, have gratitude. If you want less problems, humility, gratitude, respect, contentment, all these are blessings in life. Okay, so I've touched a little bit about humility here. So the true meaning of humility is such: humility is a state or condition of being humble. It's having a modest opinion of yourself and your own importance. That's one thing. But being humble is not believing you are inferior to others. Okay, so this is something we must take note. Humility doesn't mean I am lesser than you. No, humble people fully appreciate my own gifts and talent. I know who I am. I'm very sure of myself. I know what I am, but they don't put myself above you. Okay, but yet I'm also not inferior to you. So the quality of humility is there's a certain surety of myself, of yourself, but it is not like I'm better than you. Neither is it I'm equal to you or even lesser than you. That's not what humility is. Okay. So when we say being humble means I'm no good, I'm lesser than you, I don't know, I don't know as good as you and things like that. That's not humility. That's what we call false humility. So beware of false humility because it is pridefulness in disguise. Some people, they practice false humility when you intentionally devalue yourself to appear humble. So be careful of this. Some people can appear to be humble, look like humble, but actually a lot of pride. Let me give you an example. Some people they says, no lah, I'm not good lah, you are better lah. Is that humility? Is that humility? Think about it. Somebody keep on telling you, no, you are good lah. No, I'm not as good as you lah. You are better than me. Things like that. That's pride in disguise. He's trying to tell you, I'm more humble than you lah. Okay, I'm better. But actually, in their mind, they are probably not having a humility. It's a false humility. So they appear humble, look like humble. So be careful of this. Another example can be like this. For example, you're being told, let's say in a Buddhist society setting, you're being says, okay, can you go and lead in this particular sharing session, for example? Of course, occasionally you give people opportunity. Can you lead there? And then somebody comes to you and says, and And some people, they continuously refuse and says, no, I cannot do it. I cannot do it. And then they continue to say, I cannot do it. I'm still learning. Okay. I mean, one time, fine. 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, several times, because I know I'm no good, I'm still learning, I'm no good, I'm still learning. Is that being humble? Looks like humble, right? But is that humble? That's actually not humble. If you know something and you can learn it, you can do it, by refusing all the time and just brush aside by saying I'm still learning, that's not being humble, that's being lazy. Okay, so being humble is it's the other way. Oh, I don't know much about this, but let me find out. Okay, I'm not very sure how to do this yet, but let me learn so that I can do this, So this is a real meaning of humility. Now, I spent a lot of time talking about humility because I feel a lot of us still misunderstand what it means to be humble. The meaning of humility is not about devaluing yourself. The meaning of humility is I'm very sure of myself, but I do not esteem myself as above you, neither do I put myself below you. I am very sure of myself. It takes courage. It takes a certain sense of sureness of myself, okay, to be able to be humble. And so gratitude is an antidote to pride and false humility. So how do we practice humility? How can we cultivate the virtue of humility? One of the ways I find very useful is to have the practice of gratitude. So let's look at gratitudes in terms of the definition here. It is the quality of being thankful, readiness to show appreciation for and to return the kindness of others. Okay, so that's the practice of gratitude. Being thankful, showing appreciation, returning the kindness, all these are gratitude. It is helping us to remain humble, to put aside our pride, and just to be a good person in general. According to the Buddha, he says, these 2 people are hard to find in the world. Which 2? The one who is first to do a kindness. Okay, that's very rare to find. And the one who is grateful and thankful for the kindness done is also another rare person. It's very rare for people to be genuinely grateful one. Sometimes I find being a Buddhist, we always have this tendency that when we see things are being done, yes, we say sadhu, 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 and then all this, we do that. But how many of us go up to the person and says, Didi Chim, thank you so much for what you have done for me. Didi Chuan, thank you so much for what you have, done and organized. How often do we do those things? We like to give this sense of, oh, sadhu, well done, and all that. I mean, fine lah. But is that really the gratitude that's heartfelt? Or is it just a way of saying that, So sometimes I always tell people, don't just say sadhu, 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 and be done with it. I mean, say something nice. Say something good for people so that we appreciate them and they can feel it rather than a very a simple way of saying. So my challenge for you who are watching on Facebook, if you can, not compulsory, but if you can, say something that will thank either the organizer or the people. Put something there, a few words in the comment section if you can. This is my challenge. You might want to do this. Okay, just to give the a sense that the organizers have done it well over the many weeks and months. Say something nice to them. That show of gratitude is more genuine than us saying sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So this is something that I feel is important. Of course, today we have emojis that can express, but don't just put an emoji there. Don't just put a smiley or a heart alone. Put that there and say something, because people, it's always good as the organizer to receive those things, because this is called gratitude. And try it. Okay, those of you who can, comment in the comment there. Just say something that will show your appreciation, at least to the people who made this, to make this session happen for us. Why not? Okay, I leave it to you. Okay, so I find gratitude is a more active kind of act. When we actively show gratitude, it will definitely lead to a lot of happiness for us. I can only say this for myself because I do this from time to time, and of course today we have WhatsApp, which is wonderful, right? You don't have to call the person in case they are occupied, but we can send them a message. So what I do from time to time, if I can, in fact, I do this quite a lot, is to go to my messages. Of course, there's so many messages. Once I clear all those, the people that I know this week, I think there's somebody that has given me some opportunity to do something or done something nice for me. I have not thanked him properly, so I go to the text there and just write a few words and just to appreciate and say, thank you so much for for this. Now I'd like to mention that I also mentor one or two individuals, in helping them to be better MCs and hosts for Dharma talks and things like that. And one of them, Didi Lina, I can mention her, without fail, every single time we have a session to discuss something, she will thank me in that session. Yes, she will thank me. But after that, either a few hours later, she will still send me a message and say, thank you, Didi Niwan, for your kind gesture, for taking time for me. Just simple words like that, I tell you, it touches my heart. It touches my heart so much that I feel that I need to do more for her now. And every single time, and it's not just one off, it's every single time. And this one person, she has never failed to show that gratitude and appreciation, no matter how small a thing I did for her. In fact, sometimes I'm not doing it to her directly. I may be giving a Dharma talk, and she will send me a message separately to say, thank you, Didi Niwan, for the Dharma talk. I really learned that much from you. And I can feel the genuineness from that. So it's not just about saying sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. I mean, that's good. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu is a good word to say, but if it becomes such a routine word alone, it fails to achieve its meaning. The real intended meaning of sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. What does sadhu mean? Excellent, awesome, good. But where is that coming from? It should come from a place of gratitude. I'm grateful for somebody who has given the gift of Dhamma. I say sadhu. Not because I just want to say sadhu, but because I want to show a gratitude and appreciation to that one person. So sometimes it's gratifying for me to receive, text messages like that. When I listened to Uncle Vijaya give a talk some weeks back, and then I personally messaged him and says, Uncle Vijaya, thank you so much for what you have given and all that. And there's a few times I messaged him. Uncle Vijaya is not very good with messaging. So one time he, after receiving one or two messages, he called me and says, hey Niwan, apa ni? Why? But then he says, thank you very much. I really appreciate you, appreciate what you have done. And he I can tell that he feels a good, very gratifying feeling. So don't just say, don't just do the usual routine, put an emoji with the palms together and things like that. I mean, those are okay, but it's better, more heartfelt, more genuine, more sincere if we can say a few words of gratitude. Okay, I encourage you to do so. This is my challenge. Some of you have been listening to these talks weekly and week after week. Why don't you put it into practice? Say something nice. Yeah. So now, again, the Buddha mentioned that the bad person is ungrateful and thankless, for the wicked only know how to be ungrateful and thankless. But the good person is grateful and thankful, for the virtuous only know how to be grateful and thankful. It is totally the level of a good person to be grateful and thankful and all this kind of thing. See, so a good person is always somebody who is grateful and thankful. But how do you practice that? You can't just practice that just by thinking about it. The practical aspect of being a gratitude practice is to show it. Okay, I'm not saying you should show it all the time, but from time to time when the opportunity arises, why not say something nice, say something good, show a gesture of appreciation for the person. Yeah. So of course, for us, I think as Asians, we have our cultural kind of ways in which we show gratitude. For example, for my parents, they are not very comfortable with, say, outward showing and words of appreciation. The Chinese traditional way is to be showing your gratitude through your actions. Yeah, through your actions. So of course, we understand, like, understood it, but it's not just about that. From time to time, we need to show that appreciation. And so these days, I actually make it a point to thank the people around us. Yeah. So I also, from time to time, go to my parents to say thank you to them for whatever they have done. In fact, my parents have been very, very supportive of me and my family during this entire pandemic. The kids are not in school; they're at home. Some of us have to work, some of us have to do things, and so on. And my parents have been gracious enough for the entire time that we are locked down, and even until today, they still continue. My parents continue to bring us lunch and dinner without fail. And I always encourage my children that whenever your grandparents come and even just to deliver food, show your face, because they want to see you. Show your face and say thank you. And these days, I encourage my children, and they do that. Yeah, they do that. They go to the gate where my parents deliver the food, and then they just say thank you. And even showing them just a thank you, I'm sure as somebody who has done that, they will feel it, right? They'll feel a sense of appreciation there. So the practice of gratitude are virtues we can cultivate. It's not difficult. It just needs humility. True, genuine gratitude, katanyuta, comes from humility. Okay? So when you have actually benefited from another person's actions, you trust the motives behind those actions is not udang di sebalik batu, that kind of thing. You sense the other person has gone out of the way to provide that benefit for us. Show them appreciation. Give them gratitude. And I think those are simple things we can do. I have many teachers in my life. I have many mentors. And from time to time, I actually go to them and say, thank you for helping us. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. Thank you for showing me the way and things like that. I actually go to them. And of course, these days with text messaging, I also message them. They like to see things like this, So, and the practice of gratitude comes from the faculty of mindfulness. What is the faculty of mindfulness? It's when a noble disciple is mindful. They have utmost mindfulness and alertness and can remember and recall what has been said and done long ago. To remember the kindness of others are among the first lessons of mindfulness. As we develop a sense of gratitude, we get a practice in strengthening this quality of mind. Let me give you my example. I went for a meditation retreat last year. It was a short retreat, just over 1 week. It was not just about meditation, it's also to learn suttas and things like that. But I felt that, sometimes when we sit down to meditate, one of the things that I think there's a lot of hindrance to me is I can't get my mind to just relax and be still. A lot of times it runs everywhere and all over the place, and it was very hard to remain still. But there was one time when I was there, sitting there, and I sometimes, sit down and I trying to, as best as I can, to meditate, but it just doesn't seem to work. And I said to myself, this is not working. Let me try something different. So what I did was, as I sat down there, I remember one thing that Ajahn Brahmali was mentioning. It says, you need to give yourself the permission to be still. Give yourself the permission to meditate and be still. And what I've been always thinking about, what does that really mean? And then it dawned on me, why don't I tell myself this? So as I sat there trying to do the meditation, I told myself, look, I'm here for this entire retreat because of what? What made me being able to sit here without the distraction of work or family or obligations? And one thing dawned on me. My wife. My wife gave me permission for me to be able to go for a retreat, and and therefore the retreat itself is important for me. So because of that, I feel, wow, at that point in time, yes, she has given me that opportunity, and my family is supporting that. They have what do you call that? Relieve me on my obligations. Not only that, as I said there, I thought about this. I actually have a lot of good things that come to me in my life. My parents gave birth to me. I didn't have to suffer as much when I was little. I was all right, and I have learned so many things. And then I'm here, seated here, with all the right conditions supporting me. That itself gave me a lot of opportunity and joy to practice. So why don't I appreciate this and thank them from my heart? And as I sat there, I just gave a mental thanks to all the people that have contributed to me seated here today doing meditation. And you know what? That was the most blissful seated meditation session that I have. Very, 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 gratifying to see that, to feel that. So when I practice gratitude, it leads to the mind becoming more still, more composed, more at ease, and therefore kinder, gentler, and so on and so forth. And now when I start to practice my meditation, I start with the practice of gratitude. And I also end with the practice of gratitude. Yeah. So that's just my sharing to you. So of course we can learn from the Buddha. The Buddha's acts of gratitude are, these are just, what I picked up. It says that he paid homage to the Bodhi tree, the one he sat under when he attained awakening. Even the Buddha, the very first thing he did after he decided to come out and from his meditation, or rather from his enlightenment, is he paid homage to the Bodhi tree. Okay, legend has it that he gazed at the Bodhi tree for a very long time, just to show gratitude that this tree provided him shade, provided him protection from the elements, rain and sun, and he gave gratitude. When he first attained enlightenment, when he decided to teach, he sought out his first teachers first, Alara Kalama and Udaka Ramaputta. Of course, he wasn't able to reach them, they have passed. So he went to the next people, his 5 friends, the Panchavakya, who were together with him in his quest initially, but who abandoned him halfway because they thought he was not on the path anymore when he took rice and food. So he said this was the next one. So his sense of gratitude is there. He went back to his hometown in Kapilavatthu to reach his family and clan. Yeah? His own Sakya clan. He went back there. In fact, in the sutta, it mentioned he went to Sakya, or the kingdom of Kosala, and Sakya, which is a neighboring kingdom. He actually spent a lot of time there because he has a lot of gratitude for his own family. And of course, for him, he worked tirelessly throughout his life until the day he died as his gift to the world out of gratitude to all beings. I feel that's something he has done for us. Okay, so let's continue this tradition, this practice of gratitude. Not many religions extol the practice of gratitude as much as what the Buddha has done. Very, very comprehensive way in which he gave us the practice of what it means to be gratitude. So let me sum up. Practicing gratitude has a few benefits. So why practice gratitude? Gratitude helps us to overcome our self-conceit. Remember, pride can easily come up in our mind. Gratitude helps to soften the side of, true gratitude helps us to soften this ego. Gratitude softens the heart, makes us more at ease, help us to be a better meditator also. Because when you have gratitude, automatically it softens the heart and says, I'm grateful, I'm thankful, and I'm not the center of the world. And immediately you can feel the heart softening. Gratitude can also soothe us in stressful situations. Whenever we feel stressful, and this is something I do, and this is something you can also do. If you feel very stressful, look around and see who I can give thanks to. Okay, and just practice the 1 or 2 seconds of gratitude. When we are stressful at the time, when we are grateful, it helps us to be contented and says, actually not too bad lah. I'm all right. I have the right conditions. I have everything to be happy. So it helps us to relieve some stress. Gratitude attracts more gratitude. When we show gratitude to people, as we do this as a daily and almost a regular practice, you will find that people around also start to reciprocate. So it actually attracts people to show gratitude to us. The more good things we say about others, the more gratitude we show, the more it attracts people to have gratitude as well. Imagine this. In fact, I read somewhere that I can't remember who said this. It says, if the only prayer you say in your life is thank you, it will be enough. If the only prayer you see in your life is thank you, it will be enough. I don't know who said it, but I find that is so profound and so interesting. Okay? Because why do we say prayers? Why do we pray? We always want to pray for something, to get something, but it's not just about that. Prayers is about showing appreciation and gratitude. Thank you for what you have done. Thank you for what you have. So all this thanking is so important. In fact, there are many languages in the world that show the gratitude. Just the other day I was thinking about how we express thanks. In English we have thank you, thanks, much appreciated and things like that. In Malay it's always terima kasih, and I like that word, terima kasih. Kasih, kasih is giving you something, love. Terima kasih, receive love. So terima kasih, I have received your love, I have received your kindness. So thank you. And that's what it means. Terima kasih. Xie. And arigato is in Japanese. Arigato gozaimasu. And many other languages have expressions of gratitude. One last one is gratitude is gratifying. It is a very gratifying practice. Try it, do it as much as we can. I tell you, it gives a lot of gratification. It makes life a lot more, satisfying. Okay. And if after this we do dedication of merit, when we do dedication of merit, it can be a practice of gratitude. These days, when I practice dedication of merit, I don't just do it just to send, all this, share the merits and things like that. We do it as a practice of gratitude. Why not? When we have done something well or something good, be grateful for the people that have given us the opportunity to do so. And as we think about all the people around us, can we be thankful to them? And we dedicate whatever we have done for them. In fact, dedication is a very useful way of practicing gratitude. Those of you who, those are people who write books, authors who write books, the first page is always dedication, dedicated to my mother, dedicated to my children and things like that. I remember when I did my thesis for my MBA, I took a long time to finish my thesis, but that was many years ago. But finally, when I did it, in the very first page is my dedication to my wife, my children, my parents, and all the people around me, my thesis supervisor, and so on and so forth. And I wrote that, and I wrote something there, and make sure that is the very first thing that is being shown in the thesis. I don't know whether anybody has done that in their thesis, but in my postgraduate thesis, I actually did that. So dedication of merit as a practice of gratitude. Why not? Just do so. So my this is my sharing for this morning. Gratitude is gratifying. Please practice it. Starts from humility. Starts from a place of egolessness. yeah, or egolessness. I cannot say egoless, no ego, it cannot be, but egoless. And egoless means humility, true humility, not false humility, true gratitude by showing genuine concern for others and saying thankful. And all this will lead us eventually, the virtues like this will lead us to having joy, piti, okay, sukha, piti, sukha, joy and happiness. And with all this, it leads to passaddhi, which is tranquility of mind. From tranquility of mind, we have samadhi, stillness. Finally, it will help us to come to the level where we says we are enlightened lah. Yeah? But until then, it starts from all these things. It starts from all these virtues, all these practice. Okay, so this is my sharing for this morning. Thank you all very much for listening.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo Buddhaya, and glad to have you this morning with us again, Brother Niven. And sadhu for giving us such a enriching, interesting, inspiring, and enriching Dharma talk that ennoble our mind upon listening and also reflecting this noble quality of humility and gratitude. We shall now proceed with the Q&A session. Brothers and sisters in the Dharma, do you have any question for Brother Didi Niven? This first question from Brother W.H. Chan, KCBA. Wonder why gratitude or 感恩 in the Mandarin is not directly promoted in the 5 precepts, not in the 4 Brahma Vihara, not in the 10 Paramis, not in the 4 Noble Truths. Whereas the Christians actively promote gratitude, especially to the God.
Kan En, I think is a very useful. Actually, Kan En is very, very nice word to use because it's about somebody done something well to us, yeah, and then we are grateful for something, So it's a very direct way of expressing that. Now the question is, can I see the question again? I just want to make sure I get it right there. Why gratitude is not directly promoted in the 5 precepts, not in Brahma Vihara? Okay. I suppose the practice of gratitude is being mentioned in many places in the suttas. When we, of course, in the 5 precepts, when we chanted the 5 precepts, we don't have the word katanyuta there lah, when we look at the 4 Brahma Vihara, we have metta, karuna, mudita, upekha. Actually, the underlying virtue and the practice is actually gratitude. If you look at what the Buddha is trying to say is that the 5 precepts are the safeguards of life. And it is not, although it's not visually showing gratitude in a very active way, but the underlying thing behind it is all about having gentleness and kindness for others. It's about a consideration for others. So, for example, I refrain from taking life. It's a consideration for others' life. I refrain from taking what is not given. It's in consideration for others' property, and so on and so forth. The underlying practice is actually metta, karuna, and so on. So the underlying practice, therefore, the underlying practice of metta and karuna is where is it rooted? It's rooted in gratitude. So although it's not mentioned in that way, in a very strong way, but I have to also agree that perhaps we should incorporate some of these into our day-to-day conversations as we talk about the practice of metta, karuna, and especially mudita. Come from a space of gratitude. When we see somebody is happy, we are happy for them, and then that itself is a show of gratitude. Okay, when we are showing kindness and compassion for others, it is because it is in gratitude for whatever kindness they have shown as well. So you can turn that into a gratifying practice. You are right to say that maybe we didn't emphasize this practice enough. So how do we emphasize this practice in our Buddhist community? The way to emphasize this practice is to perhaps the conversations around gratitude need to be incorporated more as we talk more about it, as we do more about it. So how can we do this more? In our day-to-day, as we come together as a community, one of the first things we should do is to appreciate and show gratitude. In the kind of team that we have in the cradle, one of the things that we do, or every time after we do our management meeting, we finish our meeting, we finish whatever we need to do. The last thing on the agenda is always to say something nice to somebody in the team. It says, I thank you for whatever you have done over the past 1 month or so. You have done this for us. Thank you very much. And then somebody else will say something else to another person, and so on and so forth. So all these are promoted. These are metta. Okay, these are metta practice, and I think the underlying practice is gratitude. So, and we have this thankfulness to of course, if you're talking about other religions, they may thank God and may thank this and that. The underlying practice is still gratitude. So we don't have that perhaps emphasized enough. So maybe we should. If those of you are familiar with PUJA, the organization, one of the first things that I noticed in PUJA is they use the word 感恩 a lot. So many times. For every single thing I do, as I go to PUJA and I do my things there, even if I just visit them, I don't do anything for them. Before I leave, they will come to me and say, 感恩. Even if I don't do anything, I just visit them. I just want to see the place. And I maybe talk to 1 or 2 individuals. Then I leave. Before I leave, somebody will come to me and says, 感恩. So it can be promoted. It can be very easy to be promoted. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Brother Niwan, for a very good answer to a very good question. And then the question is a very good question. Lead us to a lot of reflection. But actually, a lot of answers has already been provided by Brother Niwan during his talk just now. That there were so many occasions that the Buddha talked about gratitude. And Brother Niwan has actually, you have actually given so many examples of the different parts of the sutta where the Buddha has actually spoken about gratitude and humility. Only thing is maybe our Dhamma speakers and our Buddhist leaders have to really focus more and more on this noble quality of gratitude.
Yes.
I think the Buddha has spoken more about gratitude than any other great religious teachers, actually.
Absolutely right. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Brother Niwan. Let's go for the second question.
Yep.
Brother Alfred, also from KCBA. If one grew up in a bad upbringing family, how to instill gratitude, humility, and gentleness in that person?
Yeah, well, there are many circumstances that people grew up in. I do understand that some people grew up in a very harsh or maybe in a very bad environment. Maybe the family didn't have good values, or maybe the circumstances surrounding them are not very the right conditions. It gives the person a very negative outlook of life, and it's very hard for the person then to practice gratitude. I do know people like this. They find it very hard to open up. See, the practice of gratitude requires us to be open, require a certain level of confidence. Yeah, certain level of confidence in ourselves. Because if we are not confident of ourselves, if we don't have that inner inner peace, it's very hard for us to be gratitude, to show gratitude. So for that person, it's not an easy task. So if you know of somebody like this, the very first thing is not to tell them to practice gratitude and all that kind of thing first. The very first thing is to really understand where they are coming from. Many a time when they come from families like that, their value systems are very different. It's harder for them to give a sense of gratitude because they have not been shown gratitude in their past. It's always about survival of the fittest. I know some families like that. It's all about take care of ourselves first, don't care about other people, or things like that. and they have been in that environment for a very long time. So the only way is how to instill is not about telling them. You keep telling them and telling them to do that. It's not going to work. The only way is to create an environment where we practice gratitude on a very regular basis as part of our habits. So get them to, as they join our community and be part of the community, we always remember to have simple practice of gratitude on a very regular basis. Simple thing like when we have meetings, before we start the meeting, say something nice, say something to thank somebody. After we end the meeting, let's also show a gratitude. Don't take it for granted. Give the gratitude more specifically. Say something. Last week, for example, if I were to demonstrate this, says, Lily Chim, the last time around when you call me and you ask me to give you a feedback on the speech you did, a talk you did, and I feel that you have grateful that you have remembered to call me despite the fact that you didn't need my feedback at that point in time. So so you show that kind of gratitude. So it's about showing lah. I think you can't be forcing somebody to have gratitude when they don't have that inward. But these habits or these virtues can be inculcated as part and parcel of the culture. So back to the earlier question is also right. You cannot just say, oh, let's have gratitude. We must build the entire culture of gratitude into our community. All right. So it's not just about, oh, have a talk about gratitude. No, every time practice it, every day practice it. Why not? I mean, it's a simple thing to do. Just have to get into the routine. Okay. So yeah, for that kind of people, for people who are brought up in the environment, it's not an easy thing. Have empathy for them. Look, they're not. It's not them, It's just they are brought up in the environment, so they need to get into the routine of having a lot more. When we practice it on the day to day, eventually they will change their outlook on life.
Yeah, thank you.
That's the best I can offer for now.
Yeah, thank you, Niwan. Uncle Chim is very amazed how you have matured to be so wise.
I only spoke from my heart.
Sadhu. I think due to time constraint, we just have two more questions.
Sure.
Just two more questions. Can we have a next question from Sister Jade? Before that, I think I also saw a comment by Sister Jade just now. It's a very beautiful comment that she said she have seen many who have been thanking the presenters and organizers all these weeks of Dharma talks. We shall also be grateful for their encouragement and participation.
Very good.
Thank you, Sister Jade.
Thank you, Sister Jade. Very well done.
Yeah. I think all of us here, Brother Chuan, myself, Brother Alfred, Brother Yik, and Sister Anne, and also everyone in the SJBS school. Also thank all of you for your regular participation in partaking in our Sunday Puja, our chanting, our talks, and also for your thank you to all of you. Our gratitude to all of you for your encouragement and support. Thank you and sadhu. And this question from Sister Jade Met. I have seen many. Oh, sorry. Can we go back to the questions? Alfred, can I go back to the question? Go back. Yeah. Great sharing on gratitude and humility, Brother Koo. While I have actively always expressed gratitude to others, I don't expect it from others to me. It is nice to receive it, but I don't expect it. Okay. Isn't it enough for us Buddhists to help others without expecting their gratitude? Mother Teresa also practice in helping others without expecting anything back.
Yeah, well, good one, Sister Jade. I think very well said also. I do agree. I absolutely agree with you. We should be helping without expecting any kind of thing back. I think in general we should. In practice, I think it's good to do so. Not to expect people to sometimes like that. I know you do the things, and then you if you have expectations, then you get disappointed because how come you don't appreciate me and things like that. But I agree with that. We should just do it and then don't expect but I'm just saying that it's nice to receive gratitude from people, And it's always nice to just hear a simple word of appreciation, even if it's just a simple thank you. And sometimes we also, I must say this, sometimes we are what we call paise lah. People say thank you to us, and we say, no lah, I didn't do much lah. Okay, they say something nice to us and says, wow, you've done a good job. No lah, no lah, I'm not so, I don't think so lah. I don't know lah, I'm just doing my, I mean, on one hand, you are trying to be modest. I understand that. But at the same time, I think when people show appreciation to us, it's good practice to receive it open-heartedly without having to trying to push it away. Actually, we want more praise lah, but we are just saying no lah, I'm not lah. But actually, we should just openly say you're welcome. You're welcome, and we thank the person back. So if we receive a certain sense of gratitude from others, it's okay to just say you're welcome. You're welcome. I think it's just nice to say that. So of course, some of us were not used to it. People say something nice, say something good to us, praise us and all that. Says no lah, I didn't do much lah. No, just say thank you. Just say thank you. It's okay. Yeah. So yeah, I agree with the statement. We shouldn't be expecting, but in reality, we are human beings. We do want to hear people say something nice to us lah. So of course we don't demand it from people, but on our side, on as a practitioner, let's do that. Let's say that. Let's appreciate that. Let's actively promote the practice. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for that comment also.
Thank you, Sadhu, and thank you to Sister Chit for the very good feedback and very encouraging words. So due to time constraint, we have just one more question. Last question.
Yeah.
When a person is too focused in his own personal cultivation and staying away from the community for a long period of time, will this lead him away from the noble quality of gratitude?
Yeah. Okay, this is a tough one, but I'll try to answer. Okay, when we say somebody is trying to personally cultivate away from the community, let's first look at this as from a practical standpoint first. When we talk about cultivation, what do we mean? I think we need to look at the word cultivation here. Bhavana. What does the Buddha mean by bhavana? Bhavana, in the root word here, is to do more of. To do more of it. In other words, to develop. Okay, so when we have certain qualities in us, it's about developing those qualities. That's what we mean by cultivation. So when we are focused on cultivation and we are trying to cultivate, every cultivation is personal, to be honest. Every cultivation is personal. It's never, it's also personal pace. Everyone has a different level of cultivation. We are not all the same. We are not like going to school, standard 1, standard 2, standard 3, standard 4. We're not like that. Everything is personal. And therefore, every cultivation is personal. But when we say away from the community for a long period of time, as a lay practitioner, we need to see whether this is something that can be done practically also. Can we, as a lay person, for example, who have not renounced, done the roads, become a monastic, be away from the community for a long period of time? Is it possible? Of course, some people can try it. You live as if you're a monk. You live as if you're a monastic. I think as a monastic, it is in their best interest to be away from the community, to be away from the day-to-day worldly life, to be focused a lot more on solitude. As a lay practitioner, can we do so? If we can, well and good. But if we can't, I think we are still in the community. So, okay, the next question is, will this lead him further away from the noble quality of gratitude? Yes and no. Yes, if we practice it with wrong view. We think that everything has to do with me alone and I don't care about other people. That's wrong view. So if you practice it without connecting, with the disconnect from all these qualities, then yes, that solitude, that cutting away from the community leads us to further conceit. I think I'm doing everything for myself and all this alone. But if we practice in solitude with a sense of right view, That means I'm doing this out of benefit for the people around me. I am doing this because I want to be a better individual so that the people can benefit from me. That practice leads to practice of gratitude. Um, some of you may know him, Lama Samten. Um, he used to come to Malaysia quite often. He is a Tibetan monk, and he is residing in New Zealand now. He used to be the abbot of a small monastery there, but then now he's retired. He goes around and teach. He came to Malaysia quite often many years ago, and before that, he actually spent. Can you imagine their practice as a monastic in that tradition? 3 years of retreat in solitude. So he lived somewhere up in the mountains in a cave, and he's only been given very simple thing: 3 years silent retreat. Don't talk to anybody. After 3 years, he renewed 3 more years. After that, he renewed another 3 years, and then he make it a total of 10 years of silent retreat. Okay, away from the community, but because he has practice of right view, he is really very focused on what it really means by practicing that. He has very good foundation of the Dhamma. So when he can do so, I can tell you that Lama is one of the most grateful Lama I can see. So humble that he comes and he just doesn't tell, oh, I'm a great teacher. No. He comes and first thing first is he say thank you to you first. Okay. He didn't need to, but he said thank you to us first. So yes, he was away, but because he has right view, he practiced it correctly with the right foundations, with the right ingredients there. So as a lay practitioner, if we are trying to practice, it may not be a good idea to be in solitude, not until we are very well grounded in some of the basic understanding of Dhamma. Then being away from the community gives us more time to reflect and things like that. But until then, I think we need to be in the community, but with the right community support. I think that's more practical. We can't do it all by ourselves. So yes, it can lead. So yes and no lah. The answer is yes. If we do it, in a wrong way, it can lead us to a very disconnect from life. And then you find that then some people like that, they're so-called practicing, But then after a while, you look at them, you talk to them, like that one, this person, so meditator, like that. Or some people, they do the same practice, but with the right way. Then they are kind, they are gentle, they are easy to talk to. So the same qualities I mentioned earlier, those of you who have those virtues, it's easy to talk to, you are easy to be with, you're more flexible, you are able to connect with others. That's real cultivation. Yeah. So that's just my view lah.
Yeah, thank you, Niman, for a very excellent answer to a very good question. I think life has to be balanced. We should avoid the extreme. Even in meditation, the Buddha said that faith must be balanced with wisdom. Yes. Energy must be balanced with concentration. So I think we should not focus on only one particular aspect. We have to be more balanced. Thank you so much, Didi Niwan, for the very interesting, very educational, inspiring talk this morning. That enrich and also ennoble our mind in the quality of gratitude and humility. So this is our take-home value.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Didi Chim, for your kind words and also for helping with facilitating the Q&A. I thank everyone once again. Really, really grateful for all this opportunity given. Every time I share in SJBA, it gives me so much joy. And I must say, well done, good job. Not only that, I think I would like to encourage all of you here to continue to support this noble initiative, because this is such a wonderful grounds for good practice.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Well, gratitude to the speaker, Didi Niwan. Gratitude to the Dharma friends who have listened to this talk. Gratitude to those who have listened, learned, and will cultivate gratitude and humility, and intends to practice. Didn't even the speaker, you have passed the message very successfully to our Dhamma friends this morning. Just read the comments. The gratitudes has been coming in on the comment box. Thank you very much. I'd like to say gratitude to the Dhamma friends who had been participating in every week's Sunday Buddha Puja, Dhamma talk, sharing of merits. Gratitude to the Dhamma talk, gratitude to the societies who have been encouraging their devotees in spending their time every Sunday morning to participate in the Buddha Puja, the chanting, Dhamma talk, and the discussion, finally, with a sharing of merits. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, this morning we have participated in the Sunday Buddha Puja service, listening to the beautiful Dhamma sharing, with the discussion, and with the merits we've all accrued. Let us dedicate the merits to all our departed relatives, family and friends, and all beings. May they rejoice in the merits. Sharing of merits. Imang no punya bagang mata pitu nancha acharya nancha sabba satanancha sabba mitanancha sabba nyati nancha sabba petanancha sabba devatanancha Bajema Imang no punya bagang Sabba satanang dema Sabbe sata sukita hontu Idang menya tinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo Idang menya tinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo Idang menya tinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo Imina punya kammena mame bala samagamo Satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana pattiya. Idang me punyang asavakaya vahang hotu. Idang me punyang nibbanasa pachayo hotu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Before we end this session, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, let us pay homage to the Triple Gem. Buddhang pujemi, Dhammang pujemi, Sanghang pujemi. Sukhi Hontu. To all devotees, sadhu to those who have participated, to the end of the session with the dedication of merits. Thank you to those who will continue to thank the speaker. We have come to the end of this 66th online Sunday Buddha Puja service. I'd like to have an announcement for the last talk by Venerable Dr. Dhammapala with the title Rebirth, Karma, Death. You may send your questions to SGBA email which I have stated earlier. I will post it again. Venerable will speak on the questions. So to visit again next week Sunday morning on November the 7th. I wish and may you and family be safe, well and happy and peaceful always. Stay safe. Suki Hontu. Goodbye. Sabe Sata Sukita Hontu.
Bahong sahan semabhinim mita sayudantang ngirimi kelang udita Sasena marang Dana di dhamma vidina Jitwa